Broadway.com vlog watchers. So, it's come to this. This week has been crazy. We performed in Good Morning America. We had our Halloween show, which was one of my favorite shows we've had the entire run of Beetlejuice. I just had so much fun. Everybody in costume, everybody all dressed up, everybody there to have fun. It was just my favorite time. We got top 5 show. I'll remember that forever. Trisha Paytas joined our company, and we did her podcast, and we were doing put-ins for her, and I've been going to the gym, and I've been cooking food for myself, and this week, the vlog is this. This is what I have time for. I'm going to talk to you about tour and about Beetlejuice. I'm going to answer all the questions that I'm asked all of the time. Let this be the record of everything that I've done. So if you ever want to ask me a question about the show ever again, I would check this first. And that's what we're going to do. And if this is one of those episodes that you guys play to like fall asleep to, it's going to be real chill. And I hope that you're into that. So, first question I get asked all of the time. How do I do the voice? I did a video of this in Pittsburgh. When I was backstage in Pittsburgh at this theater that, like, fun fact, is the last theater that Bob Marley ever played a show at that theater in Pittsburgh. I did a video where I was explaining that how I do the voice is like you like whisper and like do like a little texture going through. I've learned a lot more since then because I just figured out how to do it by practicing with a tiny Beetlejuice doll with my dog Paul, rehearsing the attic scene, the Fright of Your Alive scene. And so I didn't know exactly how I was doing it. I grew up singing in a punk band where I would scream, and I learned how to do that screaming technique by just listening to bands like Story of the Year and Thrice and The Used, music that I still really like. And I use that like texture that they use to make this like voice that I speak in all the time. But lately I've been working with this vocal coach. Her name is Melissa Cross. She has an Instagram account. It's called The Zen of Screaming. And she explained that what I do is essentially I fart with my vocal cords, which is the funniest answer you could have given somebody playing Beetlejuice, is that they fart with their vocal cords in order to make that sound. So I do a thing that's called, I think it's a vocal fry technique. If you want to check out our Instagram, she has a bunch of videos about it. So go there. She's a kind of a doctor, and she'll explain to you in like a series of videos how to do a vocal fry scream. And if you follow that, that should be like the clearest path to doing this voice. And you know, I recommend all the kids who are watching this. I've had so many people tell me they're doing Beetlejuice Jr., which, by the way, we saw the first, I think, ever production of that in Fort Lauderdale when the tour first started, and it is so fun. I really hope I get to see a production of it someday. Just the amount of Beetlejuice's Beetlejuice in the ensemble and the changes. I saw this one really great video of like a bunch of kids being the sandworm. I don't know what school that was, but that ruled. It's so inventive and it's so fun. And I'm so glad schools are letting you guys do this show. I love it. So that's how I do the voice. And that's that. And that's the answer to that question. The second question I get asked the most is what was like a favorite like moment of improv or a thing that happened on the stage. This question always like elicits a different response depending on what mood I'm in, and also like distance from it, because you know, we've been touring now. I've been with Beetlejuice for 3 years, little over 3 years with rehearsals, but our first show was in Paducah, Kentucky in November of 2022, which was 3 years ago, like now, which is just so crazy to think about for me. because forever we were in a new city every single week. We get to see so much of America. Anyway, back to favorite improv moment. Like personally, I used to do this thing on the road that I don't do anymore on Broadway just because the house is smaller than the houses we were playing on the road, and I feel like this bit became insane, and I just looked like a crazy person doing it. But I in one show, I can't remember what city, but 3 or 4 months into it, I decided after Lydia runs into the netherworld that I would do this like massively long scream. And that was like completely improvised. And I had no idea. I used to do this bit where I had to, in my head, it was so complicated. I had him like, I wanted him to like go between like all the different Beetlejuices. Like I was doing like a little Brightman impression and like a Michael Keaton impression. And I was trying to make this like this big complicated thing. Like nobody understood what I was doing, and it wasn't clean and it wasn't good. Which just goes to show you that the answer that's good and right is often the simplest one. And so that night I was like bizarrely too tired to do that bit. And so I just screamed, and I just kept going. And that became this like really fun bit I liked doing in the show because I think it made Beetlejuice more like dangerous. I like to mix up like the highbrow, lowbrow stuff that he does. I really don't like, I like doing like a really, really cheap joke and then like a really, really, I think like heady, smart joke, or like a really physical joke and like a really talky joke. It makes him more dangerous, I think, and more unpredictable. So yeah, I love doing that scream. I cut it for Broadway because once we got to a smaller house, not that like the 2,500, 3,000 seat theaters we were playing on tour, it felt offensive. It just like screamed that way at the audience. So that's but my favorite like improv moment that like, or like mishap on stage or whatever that ever happened was in San Francisco when the show first started. There was a mishap with the mist and the fog that happens in What I Know Now. And so the netherworld literally filled, the stage filled with like 5 feet of fog. It washed out all of the performers. We couldn't see them on the video monitors. But the people, they like these Broadway dancers, man, these people are so committed. It's crazy. They kept going and dancing in this. And all I remember seeing is like just like Miss Argentina's head pop out. Danielle, her head popping above the like mist for like a lift, and then she went back down into the mist. And then they called the show, or not the show, they stopped the show. And one of the stage, the head of props that worked at the theater then took out this big industrial fan, and he walked on the stage with it, just blowing the smoke around, and the crowd went wild. People were screaming. They were so excited for the fan guy. They gave him the biggest applause, and he comes into my dressing room after and says, hey, they like me better than you, and then left, which was the sickest burn that happened to me on the tour as well. So that part was really funny. Also that night, I think I went out to the stage door. This is a tangent, I guess, but this is one of my favorite stage door interactions. Was there was an older woman, like a grandmother, that was there with her daughter, and it was a Saturday night. I remember she had church the next day. She told me, and she asked if I would autograph her forehead, and I in Sharpie wrote on a woman's head, "Beetlejuice was here twice." And she kept it, and that woman was a very, very great sport. I love that so much. Another question I get asked all the time is if you could play like any other role in other shows, what roles would you play? I don't normally have an answer for that, just because I think that I'd like to do something. I like to do original things. I love new musical theater work. The shows that kind of inspire me are the ones that are being written now. I don't really have, I'm not a huge, I don't have like a huge role that I like am super interested in playing. But I just, if you get a chance to go see Bat Boy, and I hope it comes to Broadway, you should definitely see that, because I would play any person in Bat Boy. It's a very, very fun show. It's really funny, really well written, and I really like I like the mix of like sincere and like absurd. I think that musical theater is really, really primed for that. Like Book of Mormon does a really great job of that. I think that show's so funny. And yeah, I also really like Hair. I'd love to be Burger. Burger would be fun. Also, okay, so what else? What are some pre-show rituals that I have? That's another question I get asked all the time. Pre-show rituals. So, okay, a couple things that I've never confessed that I do. One thing that I do, if my voice is tired, or like not tired, but like too gravelly, it's really hard to figure out the balance of getting the voice right when you're moving from city to city. Like we played in Denver, and I realized once I was on top of a mountain at like 9,000 feet that I hold my breath to do the voice. And a fun fact about the Denver theater is that they have oxygen tanks in the wings for all the performers to use, because the altitude is so high that everybody is choking for the first like 4 shows you do in Denver. And so I was on like a lot of oxygen while I was doing those shows. But when my voice gets like, so sometimes I can like dry you out, which is really good for the texture of like a Beetlejuice voice, but it's not so great for singing. So I please send me money. Altoids. I have this little Altoids, and I take an Altoid and I'll pop it up, and now people are gonna see this and ream me for it. I put it in my mouth, I tuck up behind my back molar, and I did this at School of Rock too, and just let it sit there, and it just makes you salivate the whole time you're on stage, and no one can tell it's in your mouth. That's good. So that's one thing that I do, is Altoids. Must have. I now like panic if I don't have them. I also think that like having a humidifier in your room is really, really, really important. Keeping your vocal cords hydrated and drinking like a ton of water. It sounds like a really basic, boring thing, but if you don't do it, it's a mess. Like the more you can keep your cords loose and hydrated, the easier everything is. So I make sure that all that stuff is done. And then I riff. I joke with my makeup person, whoever my makeup person is. I sit and just like have a good time with them. Try to get into like a good mood. And then especially for like matinees, I have to blast like hard rock or punk music, or like just stuff that is like too loud and feels like it's got like a ton of energy behind it when I don't have that kind of energy. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie that coffee is also a huge part of being Beetlejuice specifically. Because the show starts with Ho being dead and just getting off to that, like, because you're starting right in the middle of something and you're running. Man, every Broadway show I've done so far has had that. Like, you just start off School of Rock and also Rock of Ages. School of Rock was nuts. I mean, it was like a 15-minute opener of just screaming bees. Not the animal or insect, the note. A bee on a piano. So you have to like, I have to start with like that level of energy for the audience, or they are going to be bored, and I don't want to lose them out of the gate, because if that song doesn't go well, it's a long night. Yeah, I think those are the most common things. What are we at? It's like 15 minutes. I also want to say that, like, I don't know what next week's video is going to be. I don't know how this is going to sign off. I have, like, a couple ideas for some fun stuff, but I don't really know how this is all going to end. But if you've watched this whole thing to this point, thank you so much. I have had just the best time playing Beetlejuice. It's the greatest. It's really changed my life, and I really, really appreciate all of the fans and all the fan art and all of the support that you guys have given me. I really, really do. This is just a thing that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And it's been such a gift. And I'm getting sentimental now that we're getting to, like, there's like 9 weeks left of this, and I can't believe it. I can't believe I might not be him ever again. It's like going to be devastating. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for having me and be a part of your, like, artistic life. It means a lot to me. It died. Right when I was being so sincere. The battery died. I don't know what that means. Find out next week on the big finale of the vlog. I will read the comments of this one, because if you made it through all of this, tell me what you want to see next week, and I'll do all of it. That's what I decided when the battery died. I'm going to do all of the comment section that I can do. Yeah, all right, deal. Bye. I can bring your daddy so much pain. All you gotta do is say my name. Girl, just say it 3 times in a row, and you won't believe how far I'll go. I'm on the bench, but